mute them, but all right. And we're good for go. All right. So thanks you guys for hopping on here, and thank you so much, Tammy, for joining us this evening.
Of course.
I first met Tammy. I posted in one of the group pages just if anybody in Michigan wanted to like work vendor shows with me. And, you know, I knew of this one that was out in Grand Rapids, and it was affiliated with one that I had done before, and Tammy was like, oh yeah, woo woo. And I was like, okay. So we just started chatting, and I love Tammy's story. It's kind of, I think, my favorite out of everybody's because it's so real. Like, when people meet me, they're like, yeah, right, you had 4 jobs. And like, oh, okay. It's like literally like it was like this magic wand thing like came over my life. But Tammy's story is like full on, like, especially because like she was telling me, oh, you know, my cousin's in the business and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, who's your cousin? And then like this whole bombshell. And I'm like, whatever. Like, so, I'm just going to let kind of, because Tammy's awesome. She's a hustler, and we have a whole bunch in common. So just kind of unleash your wisdom on us, hot stuff.
Okay. So you want me to just kind of tell my story at first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been in the business. I'm Tammy Nevins. I'm a triple diamond, and I am from Grand Rapids area, Hudsonville, Michigan. I've been doing this for just over 4 years. My 4-year anniversary was actually in July, end of July. So I started out like just watching my cousin on Facebook, and I was skeptical because my dad had done a lot of multi-level marketing companies and he never really made any money with them, but he like tried the Amway thing, and Amway is huge here in Michigan. He tried this like Juice Plus type of a thing. He tried like all different things, and he knew like in the back of his mind this was the big ticket. Like he knew that this was going to be a way to gain financial freedom, but he just never found the right business or the right company to go with. So I was in corporate America. I was working. I went to school, got my bachelor's degree in health fitness. I graduated and started at a hospital, worked there as an exercise physiologist for almost 10 years. While I was working full time, I also went back to school to get my master's degree. I actually started getting my doctorate in physical therapy. Decided after the first semester I did not want to do that. It was a huge time commitment. It was they were leading me down the hospitalist road, and I did not want to be a hospitalist. I wanted to work with like sports teams and things. And they basically flat out told me it was not a woman's world. Like, you wouldn't pretty much have a chance at doing what you want to do. I'm like, well, why am I going to spend 6 figures on a doctorate when I'm not going to do what I want to do? So then I stepped back and knew I wanted to continue on with my education, got my MBA. So I was working full-time. I was going to school full-time for my MBA. And then my husband and I were married. We were kind of on the 5-year plan for having kids, because I'm like, I can't do all of this and then have kids on top of that. Like, I knew I wouldn't finish school. So finished school. And then at that point I was looking for a job with my MBA. Well, unfortunately I was young. So I either was underqualified with my experience, because I went straight through school and have a master's degree at 20 some years old, or I was overqualified with my education and then no one would hire me. So 2.5 years I spent looking for a job, and I could not find anything outside of what I was currently doing. Well, meanwhile, I had $70,000 in student loans for my master's degree, and they became due. And I got my email notification. It's $800 a month. And I'm like, we're screwed. You know, we both worked full time. My husband worked an opposite shift as me, so we already were busy. At that point, I actually graduated with my MBA 15 weeks pregnant with my first son. So I was like, we need to do something. Like, my son is in daycare. Like, I can't really take another job outside the home, especially when my husband and I worked opposite shifts. No one was home who was going to take care of our son. So I had been watching my cousin for on and off for probably 3 years. Never really tried any products, never really reached out to her. I never liked or commented on any of her posts. So think about that as you're posting. If you feel like you have nobody liking or commenting on your posts, it took me almost 4 years to reach out to my cousin, and you are going to die when you find out who she is. I did not know anything about the business. You know, all I saw was she was paying off her debt, which I wanted. She, her husband, who was a financial advisor at the time, quit his job and did this full time with her. They bought a Range Rover, $80,000 vehicle in cash. She had like the invoice, posted the invoice one day. I'm like, what the frick? Like, what are they doing? You know, like I'm in the wrong field here. I'm sitting here with my MBA, can't even find a job. And here she is like wheeling and dealing and making all this kind of money. So I'm like, you know, at that point I had to either find a job or I had to do something, you know, part-time on the side. Well, one day she posted that I was at the hospital working in a windowless room, and she posted that she was looking for partners to work with her and earn a $10,000 bonus. And this was her office for the day, and she was at the beach. She was at Grand Haven. At that point, it was mid-July, end of July, and I had not once been to the beach yet that summer because we just didn't have time. I was working too much and we just didn't go. And I'm like, I had a, you know, not even 2-year-old at home. I'm like, oh, I want him to be able to go to the beach and have fun. So I was like, screw it. I told my husband, he went to go to work that night, and I said, I think I'm going to call Steph. So I called her. And so anyway, my cousin is Stephanie Dunn, Black Diamond, #1 money earner in the company. At that time, she was probably number 6 or something like that. This was 4 years ago. So I did not know anything about, that she was like a celebrity in It Works at the time. I had no idea. I just knew that she was making really good money, and I wanted a piece of that. And I thought, if she can do this, I can do it. Like, I didn't even know what she was doing, but I'm like, she makes it seem pretty darn easy. Of course, I was willing to work hard. I was always willing to put in the extra effort. So she says, how much money do you want to make? And I said, I want to make $1,000 a month. Is that possible? And she's like, oh yeah, it's definitely possible, but you're going to have to get to work. And I'm like, okay. So of course, that night in a 20-minute phone call, I signed up. I gave her all my information, credit card, social security number, all that kind of stuff. And I got off the phone. I'm like, what the frick did I just do? I have no idea what I'm doing. I had tried one wrap actually 2 years before that, before we went to the Dominican Republic for a vacation, and I didn't see results. It didn't work. So I thought this whole thing was a scam. I just saw her consistently rolling in the dough. So I was like, I don't freaking care what it is. I knew it was health and wellness based, and I'm like, I'm a health and wellness based background. So I'm like, I should be able to do it, whatever she's doing. And the thing is that I did everything she told me to do. The moment I hung up the phone with her, I had already had my launch party booked. I had already had instructions on going through the training academy, which I did right away. It took me 4 days because I was working, but it was like I did everything she told me to do because I'm like, obviously she knows what she's doing. She's making good money, and that's why I reached out to her. So I'm going to do what she tells me to do. And from that point on, it was like I did not have a very good warm market. I got started right away, like messaging everybody I knew, posting on social media every once in a while, getting nowhere with that. I was really frustrated. I signed my sister up 10 days after me, and we had a very close-knit mutual friends group. So I'm like, well, how am I going to make money if my sister's reaching out to the same people? We had no idea how any of that worked. But it was like when she told me to start looking into doing events and expos, I was like, what is that? But I'm like, at that point, I was like hitting a brick wall with my friends and family. I even had friends tell me that I came across as desperate. And if you need to beg people to host a party for you, you obviously aren't doing that well. And on and on and on and on. And I was like, I'm just trying to make some money. I'm just trying to like grow my business. And honestly, if you're not willing to support me, like, I guess you weren't that good of a friend, because I supported all of my friends with all their stupid parties, and not stupid, but whatever, you know. So anyway, I just was like, I got to reach out to people who I don't know. And with a full-time work schedule and a husband who worked an opposite shift, it was hard to make it work so that I could finagle things without, you know, with childcare and everything. So the weekends were the best time for me. And I just started looking into booking events. And my very first event was a mom-to-mom sale. It was $25 for the table. I got a tablecloth at the dollar store. We got a couple boxes set up. I think I actually even had my kit because I'd only been in the business like a month. I don't even think I had gotten my first auto ship yet. So it was like, we did not know what we were doing, but I sold 2 wraps at that event. And it was the start of gathering leads and figuring out how I could grow my business a different way than just posting over and over and over again on social media. So it took me about 3 months to go Ruby. I sat at Ruby for 5 months. 8 months in, I went from Ruby to Diamond within a month. I went double Diamond 2 months later. And I sat at double Diamond for about 22 months, and then I hit triple Diamond. And I've been triple Diamond for over a year now. But a lot of it has been based on doing events and gathering my business a different way. What shifted? Well, for me to sit at, because I sat at Ruby for 5 months, I went to conference. That's what changed. I signed up the end of July. In September, September-October conference tickets were available. I'd only been in the business maybe 2 months. I wasn't making any money. But staff said, like, you have to go. You do not have a choice. If you want to make $1,000 a month, you have to be there. And I did it. I put my entire conference, tickets, hotel, airfare, everything on a credit card. And I went. So I went to conference as a Ruby in February, or January actually it was at that time. I went to conferences Ruby, and then promoted to Diamond 3 months later, and 2 months after that I promoted to double Diamond. And I earned the $10,000 bonus and the $15,000 bonus. And actually I was pregnant when I went to conference for the first time. I was pregnant with my second son, just 3 months along. So I was not that fun. I was exhausted and like all that kind of stuff. But it just hit me. I'm either going to have to put this baby in daycare along with my 2-year-old son, who was only going to be 2.5 when my other son was born. So 2 boys under the age of 3 in daycare full time is not cheap. So I sat down with my husband and I said, either I go full force with this and have the possibility of quitting my job, or I thought going down to part-time. Honestly, I didn't think I'd be able to quit my job. I was like still zoning in on $1,000 a month. But once I got home from conference, it was just getting to work. I was scared before that. I worked in the hospital system. I didn't have a lot of posting. Like, I wasn't doing a lot of posting on social media. I was afraid of what people thought about me. Honestly, I was holding myself back. And once I went to conference and I heard those stories, at that time, I had never even done Instagram. I didn't even know what Instagram was. So once I left conference, I heard people building their entire business on Instagram. I'm like, I want this. Like, what in the world are they doing? How are they doing that? And I started my Instagram after that, and that built a huge part of my business as well. But just getting out there and booking event after event and party after party and talking to people and not caring what people thought about me. That was a huge thing. So, I mean, I think that's what shifted, was getting to conference and seeing the bigger picture. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I'm working on going presidential, but I've always pushed with my team. I've always pushed for myself and my team to build strong and not build fast. Like, build fast, but build strong as well. So because the more you grow, the easier you can tend to lose rank if you're not building a strong team and you're finding layered leadership in your team and your different legs. So I'm working on, we all know how this past year or two has been. It's kind of been rough for everybody, including, you know, my uplines and other people that I've talked to. So I think that, you know, just focusing on doing what you feel is, you know, producing something for you. So for me, that's events and expos. It always has been. So I'm like, I'm not changing, like I'm not going to try to change the wheel. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep doing my events and expos. And that's what's going to help me grow my business. So if you've been just sitting and posting on social media for the past year or two and you're not getting anywhere, that's when it's time to make a shift and see what else is out there. And I think that's why I'm on here to talk with you guys today. I mean, Erin obviously has built her business mainly on social media or on with events and expos as well. But sometimes it's nice to hear it from somebody else. I know, like, I just had Erin on as a featured guest on my Zoom a couple days ago, and a lot of aha light bulbs went off when she talked to them. So, yeah, that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
And being from Grand Rapids, how many, so do you stick close to Grand Rapids then when you're doing events?
I did in the beginning. I definitely did. I did all West Michigan events. But we also did, I think I was not quite Diamond or was just about Diamond. And we actually went over on your side of the state and did a couple events, bigger events. And so when we got back home, we booked a bunch of parties and we had to drive back to Detroit area and back and forth and back and forth. But honestly, like, we booked a couple parties a day and we just drove back and forth, and it was worth it. Like, one of the parties that we booked, we ended up signing 4 loyal customers at the party. And it was like, there was a 400 box right there, you know? And it was like, at that time, I was working closely with my sister to help her build, and she was my focus on, you know, my diamond for me to go double. So I had my husband signed up, but I really was like wanting to work with people who are working. So my sister was working with me, and we just really like we did a lot of them together, and we just poured in every loyal customer we signed up. We just were placing and building volume and filling boxes. But now I've been in 4 years, and that's a little bit different. So I just earlier this summer I did a big esthetician show, the IECSC Esthetician and Spa Show out in Las Vegas. Did that one in June. There was about 40,000 people there. And then just earlier this month last month, end of September, went to Florida and did the same esthetician show down in Florida. So those are a little bit more costly though. And honestly, like, if you can just book a bunch of smaller events that are like $100 or less per event, you can reach out and get the same, you know, the same type of, it's just the amount of leads that's different. You're pretty much getting the same experiences.
Yeah. Cause I never have a bad show. I always tell people I never have a bad show, but you know, I spent $3,000 on, there we go. I spent, you know, $3,000 on the Chicago Marathon, and I had a better show at, you know, Lakeland High School for $40. And it was like, but it's it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the gamble you take, I think, with events and expos. They're hit or miss. I did when I was working at the hospital, I had a coworker whose daughter was in gymnastics. She went to this little gymnastics school, and she told me, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but they're doing a vendor event, and you can get a booth. It's $10. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but the parents of the gymnasts are going to be there and everything. If you're interested, I'm like, I would never turn down an event. I'm like, yeah, yes. We'll figure it out later. I don't even know what the date is. Yes, we're going to do it. And so that day, it was very dead. I was like, oh my gosh. I just kept telling myself it was only $10. Only $10. The last hour, a husband and wife came in to pick up their kid, wandered around. She signed up as a loyal customer with us, over 200 BV in orders for 1 month. And she ordered every single month for over 2.5 years.
Oh my God.
Was it worth the $10? Heck yeah. Like, there is, and that's the thing. You never know who's going to be there. You never know. So Stephanie did these events, and they actually did a big bridal show out in St. George, Utah. They signed a distributor out there 1 year, and they just basically continued to sign up for that expo, but they just were looking for a distributor who would run the expo for them every year, so that they didn't have to keep flying out to Utah and running it. So that's another idea, find somebody if you had to go out of state or something, find somebody who can run that show for you. Yep. So get this, the story that came out of this is she signed this distributor. This distributor started doing the expos. The first or second year she did the expo, she signed a girl who didn't do anything with her business for the first 6 to 8 months, and then went to an event and realized, oh my gosh, I've been doing nothing and I'm sitting on a gold mine. And that girl got to work. And that girl is an ambassador diamond right now. Her name is Jocelyn Yates. And she would not have been signed unless she showed up at that bridal expo and somebody from It Works had talked to her, and she actually bought a wrap to begin with and ended up signing up as a distributor to get the discount. So you probably have heard her story before, but that's the backstory of it that most people don't know. So Stephanie and Joel booked that event to begin with, handed it down to one of their distributors. Their distributor was manning that event and signed Jocelyn Yates. And at that point, Stephanie and Joel were ambassador diamonds. So can you imagine the cab leg that they had running for that one event? I mean, it's more than paid for itself over and over and over again.
Pretty much.
It's just crazy. I just keep telling myself, we've had lots of events that are flops. We've had lots of events that, like you said, you'd go spend $3,000 and you do an event and you're like, oh, darn it, but you have to do them. It's all about the power of numbers in this business. It's about talking to massive amounts of people to sign it's going through the no's to find the yeses. And if we do an event every once in a while that's a flop, that's okay, because that means we're just that much closer to our next one that's going to be an amazing event.
Yeah, and I stress that too, because I didn't have a warm market in the beginning either. I literally, to this day, I think that I have done 4 parties in 3.5 years. That means 4 people have said yes to me coming to their home and wrapping them and doing an actual party. 2 when I first started, and then like I did 1 last year. I mean, it's like nobody. And I mean, like, I am that borderline desperate or whatever. I've launched thousands of distributors, but I can't. So it was like, got to do the expos, because getting in front of people at those parties is awesome. But you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 people maybe, and they are like, meh. But if you're at an expo, you're, 20, 30, 40, 40,000. So it's just, the expos are where it's at. Mm-hmm. Like, just for the numbers, just to do one to get those numbers, and then go do the parties that you like to do or whatever. But those expos, they're money. Wendy wants to know if you have any expo tips that you can share with us.
Well, what I do usually at most expos, we always have a drawing box. And we usually get name and phone number. That's really all we need, name and phone number. I mean, you can get email address and all that kind of stuff too, but we get name and phone number, and we sign them up. They just fill out the drawing form and then they throw it in there. And we don't really push retail sales that much. We really try to get them into a drawing, or we try to get them to try a wrap on the spot. We'll try to get them to sign up as a distributor. So actually, when we were out in Vegas, the $9.99 kit was announced when we were doing that expo in Vegas.
Oh my God.
And we signed 37 distributors in 2 days. Unfortunately, they were all business owners, salon owners, and they didn't really understand the business side. They just wanted the wraps, and $10 for 4 wraps and defining gel was a better deal than what we were selling an individual wrap for at the show. So a lot of them just were kidnappers, but we still have contact information. We're still following up with them. I still have some of them that are running their auto ship every month, even though they're not like necessarily working with me right this moment. But I also have to think this was just in June, and look at Jocelyn's, timeline that she really didn't work for 6 to 9 months. So you can't discount the people that signed up even for the $10.99 kit or the $9.99 kit quite yet, because it's only been a few months, and they probably, honestly, a lot of them probably haven't even tried the wraps yet. They probably just have the kit sitting there. So it was still an amazing opportunity, and it was like, holy cow, what just happened? That was a God thing, like that we were out there at the moment that they announced $9.99 kits. It was just psycho crazy. And so that one, we just mainly were pushing distributor, because, it was $9.99. Normally we get people's contact information if they're local, so we can try to book wrap parties. We usually do, if we're out of state or not local, we will do still get contact information. What we chose to do in Florida this time was very different. We chose to get to know each person that came to our table, talk with them, friended them on Facebook, and learned a little bit about their story. And now when we follow up with them, they're not just a name. We did the same. I think, Erin, you mentioned this too. They wrote down their name and phone number to be entered into the drawing, but on the back of the piece of paper, I'd grab it once they walked away out of the jar, and I'd write down interested in fat fighters, owns a salon, does mainly massage therapy, possibly interested in defining gel for skinny massages, lives here in this location or whatever. I would write down as much information as I could get from them, so that when I contact them, they're not just a number. I'm not sending a generic, message to them. I'm actually relating to them, hey, it was so good to meet you. I hope you had fun at the event. Some of the girls were going out afterwards, oh, hope you had fun going out, afterwards. And it was so good to get to know you. And honestly, I've have new followers on Instagram from it. I have new friends on Facebook. The keto coffee was announced. Instantly, one of the girls who actually was a vendor next to me, which don't discount the vendors at all, because the vendors know their stuff. They understand the workings of expos and events. They do them. They know to contact or to, gather leads and things like that. That's what they do. So they completely understand how we work this business. So we talked quite a bit with the girls next to us. We actually had a hallway in between us and the next vendor, but we walked around when it was slower. Walk around and hand your Blitz cards to all the vendors and say, hey, we're over at booth so-and-so. Come on over. We'll wrap you today for $25. If you want to just take it and, go, that's fine too. But if they buy something retail, always get their contact information. That's key. We just started having a little bit more, because the Florida event was supposed to be bigger, but we had the hurricane. And actually, we booked our hotel a week before the event, because we didn't know if we were going to be going, if it was even going to be standing at the time, because we were in Fort Lauderdale, and that's exactly where the hurricane was heading initially. So there was a lot of people normally at that event come from the Caribbean, and the Caribbean was destroyed with the hurricane. So there was a ton of people that didn't show up. So we used that instead of being like, what a flop, we just spent thousands of dollars on this. We used that to connect more closely with the people that we did talk with and we did get to know. And I think we've signed 3 loyal customers. We have 2 or 3 people very interested in becoming distributors. And we have a girl who does microblading who wants us to she's going to be doing a grand opening of her salon. And she wants us to go down and partake in that and do a party, like a big party at her salon. Yes, that means we're going to have to fly down to Florida again. But you know what? If she does a salon, I have a girlfriend who's a presidential diamond, Brandy Estes. She worked at a salon. She did her launch party at her salon and signed 25 distributors at her launch party. She was boxed for diamond at her launch party. That can happen. Like you can't, if you want it bad enough, you've got to some people might look and think, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. I would never do that. Well, that's what I did to get to triple diamond. I had to do the crazy things that no one else was willing to do, because if I didn't do it, I was just like, someone else is going to do it, and Steph did the same thing. She's like, every time we'd book a trip or we'd go, book a huge event or something and be like, I don't know what we're doing. She's like, you are so funny. That's exactly what I would do. I did that exact thing as I was growing my business. So I'm like, okay, copy the right cat, guys. You got to do what the crazy people do if you want to be one of those crazy people making 6 figures a year or more. Does that answer your question about some expo tips? It's really like getting the contact information is key and following up.
The drawing. How do you follow up? Like, do you just randomly pick? Is everyone a winner? Like, what do you give away?
Yep. Well, this is Stephanie's tip, and this is what we did. We still will do this on occasion, depending on the expo or the event. Everybody is a winner. They all win a wrap party or a sample session or a spa night. Ladies spa night is a really good, I get a lot better response for spa night than wrap party. Mm-hmm. I always choose them to win their choice of a wrap or a facial, because you don't want to discount anybody who might not be interested in the wrap, right, or not think that they need the wrap. Especially when you're talking with estheticians and salon owners and skincare specialists and stuff. They're like, I don't need that wrap. I've got my own skincare line. It's like, well, the facial, like, try it for yourself. This might be something you want to incorporate in your salon. And so everybody gets one as long as they agree to either posting something on Facebook if they're not local, doing an online party. We'll book online parties off of them if they're not local. And usually for me, I'm kind of cheap, so I don't like to just hand them out to everybody and anybody, because, we pay for them. And Pam Souter has always said, don't just give our product away. Like, you can't discount our products to that point. Like, you are in this business to make money. I want you to make money. So I will say, like, as long as you get 2 customers from your online party, I get 2 customers sign up through my website at your online party, I will send you a free wrap. Then it's worth it to me, because I just fast started somebody and I just made myself $100 or whatever it may be, but make it seem like it's something that's really sought after, that people really want and are willing to pay way more than $25 for, because it really is true. I don't know the entire accuracy of that statement that it used to be a European spa treatment that people would pay up to $400 for, but I wouldn't be surprised if back in the day it was something along those lines, and now it's only $25 and you can do it in your home. So make it feel like it's something that, 90% of people are going to have results in 45 minutes. So make it seem like it's something that's that valuable. Don't discount it and just hand it out to everybody and anybody. So I reach out to everybody, and I'll probably book 2 to 3 parties out of every event, sometimes more, sometimes less. I don't consider it a non-successful event if I don't have anybody book a party, because I add all of those people are part of my follow-ups list. I don't have a 100s list. I probably don't even have a thousands list. I probably have a 10,000s list because in the past 4 years, I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of leads come in. Whenever there's a promotion, I can't even go through my phone. And then I have a business page on Facebook, and I have my personal page on Facebook, and I have my Instagram page. And I can't even touch them all with a normal promotion that happens because I have that many people to follow up with. That's when you have a good problem. You know, like some people are sitting there like, I don't even know 100 people. Well, get out here and do events and expos, and that will grow your 100s list very, very quickly. So what if they say, oh, I've seen something similar on Groupon and doesn't require at least 3 months of purchases? It's not our product. We don't sell our Ultimate Body Applicator on Groupon. And
ours doesn't require the 3 months either. You can pay the membership fee.
Yep.
Which is awesome. We pay $50 one time and you're a loyal customer forever and ever. The 3 months is just to waive that fee as a convenience.
Mm-hmm. So. And the thing is I might even take it one step further and say, I challenge you to try one of our wraps for $25 and you make your decision on what's the better product. I can guarantee you that you're getting what you pay for. And that product is nowhere near the quality. You won't have anywhere near the results. And chances are they're a water loss wrap or something like that. They're not the same product. Our product is patented to It Works Global. There is nothing like it in the entire world. And I would just make them be like, you know what? If you want to sit here and go on Groupon and buy something on Groupon, great. But I mean, I've had people buy stuff on eBay and it's been expired and it didn't work. And they came back and signed up with me as a loyal customer. I mean, then again, I don't waste a lot of time talking to people like that either. I learned the hard way over 4 years because I would constantly be trying to drag those people. Like, come on, come on, come on. I hated losing people. I hated having people say no. But you have to know that at this point, it's like you're one of millions of people. There are billions of people in this world. We are in 23 countries in this world. Are you going to waste more than 10 minutes of your time on one person when there's billions of other people you can talk to?
Nope.
That's my mindset. I just am like, on to the next. You know, I will definitely come back and say my response that I said, but I wouldn't waste much more time on that. I'd go on to the next person.
How often do you hear that it's saturated?
Oh, I hear it all the time. I mean, I'm in the backyard of where the company started. But like Erin said, I mean, okay, so the 3 black diamonds, well, Cammie is technically, she was a black diamond. The 3 black diamonds live within a 45-minute circle of each other. And I am one of many triple diamonds in this area. And there's other ambassadors in this area. And there's other presidentials in this area. And every day I will encounter somebody who has never heard of It Works. Because I blitz. I do blitz now. It was hard for me in the beginning. I got over myself. And I talked to people. And I just checked out at Under Armour with my son. Took him on a date night the other night. Checked out with the girl. She lives in Jamestown. I'm like, I live in Jamestown. Like, what a small world. Where do you live? Blah, blah, blah. Turns out she lives right around the corner from me. Have you heard of It Works? And she said, yeah. She had seen somebody posting about it on Facebook. And I gave her my card and said, if you want to try it, because she had never tried it before. And it's like, people think it's saturated because they see a few posts on Facebook. And it's like, if you actually take it one step further and ask them, have you tried it? You'd be surprised to know that most people have not. And my aha moment at the mini boot camp in Grand Rapids, and I'm sure Erin, you probably thought the same thing, is when Pam Souder said, I want to thank all of you for your advertisements on social media.
Yep.
Because the people out there who are actually working and talking to people and asking people are getting business because they had heard about It Works through your posts, but you have never reached out and asked them yourself.
You know, it was funny.
Like my mic drop. I was like,
yeah.
And
I actually had a teammate of mine who has recently, stopped working with us, and she posted that she was no longer with It Works. And I think I read actually like final, there was 3 people that commented and they said, what's It Works? And I was like, oh Burn.
Yeah.
So I guess you actually haven't been doing your work.
Exactly.
Like,
Like the whole thing of when your mouth is closed, your business is closed. And I'm not saying don't post on social media for sure. Like always be posting on social media. Let people know what you're doing because the algorithms, like people only see your posts on average about 16% of the time. So when you're posting, you might feel like you're posting over and over and over again. I usually post 2 to 3 times a day. Today I didn't really post much. I only posted once this morning because I was not feeling good. But for the most part, I'll post 2 to 3 times a day consistently. And sometimes I'll post something and 2 days later I post the exact same thing and I have a ton more response the second time around than the first time. And people will say, oh, I didn't even see your last post. So it's like, don't feel like you're bugging people. If they want to unfollow you, they can unfollow you. They can hit the button. But just know that there's people out there like me who followed but never liked or commented, never interacted on my cousin's posts until I got to the point where I was desperate for a change in my life and I reached out to her. So every 6 months, somebody goes through a life change, whether it be, a change in their career, a pregnancy, a loss of a family member, whatever it may be. And if you're not posting consistently and something happens and changes in their life that you maybe had reached out to them before and they weren't interested, don't not reach out to them again unless they say, stop messaging me. Because I do that with all my leads. I mean, I have people that were leads of mine 3 years ago that are just now signing up as customers and stuff. And it's like the keto coffee or something new that we didn't even have 3 years ago. So don't discount every single phone number that you have, every single lead that you gather is a potential rock star on your team or a potential loyal customer. I mean, every loyal customer, especially now, 5 loyal customers, you get $100 bonus. So I'm like working my butt off in my business right now. I mean, that's just extra money that the company's blessing us with. And I'm thankful that I have worked so hard to gather as many leads as I have because I have so much. My team so often will say, I don't have even 10 people to reach out to, or I have 5 potential distributors. And I'm like, okay, like what else are you doing to get your, distributors? And it's the blitzing and that type of thing too. Siri said, what are the best places to blitz? I know most stores you can't. Well, I have blitzed, I've blitzed drive-throughs. Basically one thing that Mike Patillo said that stuck with me is anywhere that you're exchanging money for a service is an opportunity to blitz. You're being waited on at the restaurant. That's like one of my favorites because the waitress is always talkative, happy to get to know you. They want a good tip, and all that kind of stuff. So you can say, hey, have you ever heard of It Works? I have my card here. I've got a coupon. You've been so nice and so helpful to me today. We've loved having you as our waitress. Here's an extra $5 coupon to try a wrap. And, oh my gosh, sorry. I was like, oh, Siri, it's like the iPhone. And it is. That's funny. But anyway, so I blitz waitresses all the time. I blitz in the drive-thru because I'm busy and I have a boy that is in school, but I also have another boy who's just turned 3 and he's with me all the time. He's my little sidekick. So if I want to run through the drive-thru and get a pop or, get him a Slurpee or something like that, I will blitz the waitress or the fast food person. I one time at a Panda Express had them tell me that they couldn't accept like a solicitor. It was like soliciting or something. Like we can't accept solicitors or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. Like I'm just trying to hand you a coupon, but let it brush off and just continued on my way. But really, pretty much anywhere you can blitz. Gas stations. Another friend of mine, Sideline Sister, she is a triple diamond. She's been in the business almost as long as Stephanie. Actually was Stephanie's good friend and Joel's good friend that he grew up with. She started out her business going to gas stations and blitzing. That's how she grew her business. She signed 52 distributors in 1 month, blitzing gas stations. And she didn't go into the gas station just to get gas. She'd go in, buy a pack of gum. She'd go in, buy a pop. And just any excuse, anytime she passed a gas station, she'd pull in and go in and talk to the gas station attendant. I thought that was genius because I'm like, who wants to work at a gas station for the rest of their lives? Well, guess what? 52 people in that month became distributors with It Works because she went in and asked them if they were interested in making some extra money from home. So she also eventually out of that had Major Jones in her downline. You never know. I mean, she is now getting back into it because she kind of took some time off. Life stuff happened, but like she is one of those people that how many people do you know would stop at every single gas station you pass by and go and talk to them? You know, that's an opportunity that most of us don't really realize we have right in front of us and we're not maybe willing to take at the time, but that is a huge opportunity. Yes, ninja blitzing is awesome, but like Joel says, ninja blitzing is you don't get anything out of it about 90% of the time. If you want to be more effective with your blitzing, you actually have to have a conversation with that person and ideally exchange contact information, which is always a little bit harder if you're checking out at Target and you're fumbling and everything. But I mean, honestly, I'm like, worst case scenario, I get them my card and they can call me later. Like if I figure either way, getting the information into their hand, that's just like at expos and vendor events. Like when we were in Vegas, it was so crazy busy and it was just two of us manning the whole table. So after a while, we were just handing our Blitz cards to everybody who passed by because it's like when they get home and sit down, they might be like, oh, and check out the website. So getting your information into people's hands is key. Ideally, you can close the deal better if you get their contact information. Obviously, you can follow up with them. But ninja blitzing is great. I just know that I did it a lot in the beginning, and I got really hardly anything out of it. You're kind of wasting your money, like just handing out hundreds of Blitz cards. I actually went to the mall one day and put Blitz cards on every single windshield. We probably put down at least 200 to 300 Blitz cards. I didn't get one phone call.
Yeah, so don't recommend that because if something happens to somebody's car, like I went into the Coach outlet and I opened up all the purses and I put Blitz cards inside the purses.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, there's different ways of doing it, and like the key is to do it.
Yeah. I
mean, I always hear so many people, especially on my team, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want to do this, I want to do this. How do I do this? How do I do this? The key is don't ask. Don't try to learn it. I didn't know what I was doing when I got started. Just get the action and do it. Find a way, get it done, and you'll be thankful that you did.
Yep. Yeah. That's about it.
Does anyone have any other questions? I don't know if I answered everybody's questions, but
I think you did. You know, really though, you can blitz anywhere. Today I was at Kroger and it's that thing, you know, there's the girl who was in the line, in the U-scan, and my son just said to her, like, this is what you do all day. And she's like, yep, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And I pulled out a Blitz card and I was like, just in case you don't ever want to do this for 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you need to give me a call because this is a good gig. And, you know, I blitzed 4 people in Kroger. So it's not like, you know, you're walking into a store or into a place and being like, who's trying that crazy rap thing? Like, that's soliciting.
Oh, yeah. Well, and my thing is, like, I always have my gear. I have my work sweatshirt on right now. Do not leave your house without something it works on. Either you just have a hat on. I see a girl, Charmaine, has her hat on. I like it. Like, I mean, your shirt, your sweatshirt, you're doing Zooms like this with your team, you be in your gear.
Yeah.
Like, wear your gear at all times. Yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorite sweatshirts. So I don't even know why I own regular clothes because I don't live in anything but my It Works gear. You are a product of a product, and you are branding yourself by wearing your gear. A lot of times you don't even have to worry about blitzing somebody, because if you have your gear on, they'll say, what works? Or, oh, I like your hat. And you can say, oh, it's my company. You know, have you heard of It Works? It's so easy. It's such an easy way of doing it. Like, I get that so many times, and that's in one of the most saturated areas in the world, where we live.
Just make a lanyard. I didn't own anything until I was an Emerald, and I bought myself a hat, and it was 2 sizes too big, and I still wore it. But you know, you can take a Blitz card, hang it from your purse. Cami even posted, you know, laminate this thing and clip it from your purse. I had a teammate who took an empty energy can and hung that from her purse. I had a teammate who tried to return the empty energy cans. Obviously, we can't return them, but he ended up selling a wrap because he went, you know, ignorance on fire. And that's it. Everything that we have is marketing. So if you, like me, I'm like, I'm not buying one more thing until I hit presidential. That's it. That's the thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to, because where I was at when I started, I'm like, I'm not going to spend money on clothes. I'm just going to wear my lanyard. You guys, I wore that lanyard every single day, everywhere I went.
Yeah.
I still wear it. And then I hang things off of my, my kids' backpacks and all kinds of stuff. So,
well, and when Steph and Joel were getting started, a lot of you guys probably know their backstory. They had a horrible financial situation they were dealing with. They didn't have money to buy a bunch of clothes. Stephanie had one shirt. She wore it until it had holes in it. I still have some of my original shirts I refuse to throw away. They have holes in them, and I use them to layer my other shirts. Like, I won't throw them away. I'm a cheapskate too, but it's like, I do buy the gear as I get money and like as I come up with it, because I know, like, I had to buy scrubs for my job for 10 years, and I didn't get paid more for wearing my scrubs, but I had to wear them. Now, it's almost the opposite here. You don't have to wear your gear, but if you wear it, you get paid more. You know? So Becca, who said she can't find anything that fits, try the Unisexy line. That's like men and women can wear it. That usually runs a little bit bigger. I know because I have women on my team that are kind of in the same situation. I have a guy who was a 3 or 4 XL, and he still finds shirts to wear. So he's actually lost weight on the products, and now he's down to about a 2 to 3 XL. But when he first started, he still found a shirt to wear. The Unisexy, the men's, there's a curvy line now, which is kind of like considered our plus size line. There's so many different products or clothes that you can get, and you can get a shirt for like 18 to 20 bucks, and it's a tax write-off. So I'm like, every single person on my team, get a shirt, get something. You know, and like you said, even if you don't have the money to buy the shirt at first, get a lanyard, get a hat, get a bracelet, wear the bracelet everywhere. You know, find a way to brand yourself, because if you just walk up to somebody wearing a regular t-shirt, they're like looking at you like, who are you? And what are you doing trying to push this random company on me? Like, you want to look the part, you know? Yes, it is a tax write-off. You can write that off on your taxes. I mean, if you make more than $600 a year, you get a tax form from It Works Global. And as an independent business owner, you can write off things like your gas to go to parties and to events. I can write off my vendor events that I pay for. You can write off your auto shipment. You can write off your $20 e-suite. I mean, the possibilities are limitless. Get with your CPA and talk to them, or search like some of the team pages, because there's tons of information out there. Pretty much everything that you purchase to run your business is a tax write-off.
Yep. Even my laminator. Laminate everything.
That's so funny. It's such a good idea, though, because we always have at our vendor events a dry wrap and a dry facial, but everybody touches them. And then it's like they get all dirty and silly. And it's like, that's such a good idea to have it laminated because they can actually see. This, like, mainly you want it to show the size. You know, this is how big it is. But yeah, that's a great idea to get a laminator and just laminate the heck out of everything and anything, especially that keto coffee, staple it on. I had a little mini Blitz card that was on my purse for the longest time, and then it fell off and I didn't replace it. And that just is a reminder to me to replace my little mini Blitz card, because all of those things get attention. Like, people get attention, you know, they check things out and they'll ask questions a lot of times before you even have to bring it up.
You can shrink it by submitting it to a like Office Depot or Best, whatever, the
Staples.
By Staples, yeah. I also save my tags from my clothes, and I laminate those as like bag tags and stuff. So really, yeah, if you guys want this, you'll do it. And like I said, you know, Tammy's story is a lot more relatable than mine. And it was really important, you know, for me, for you guys to hear how it's important to not give up, because it doesn't matter how much money you're making. Somebody is still going to just be watching and not commenting and not liking. And then all of a sudden, you know, but if you quit, then that's it. So it really is, you have to stick it out. I worked on people that I was like, for sure, I know for sure as soon as I hit double diamond, they're going to sign up. And they're like, nope, And I'm like, I just got 25 grand in bonuses. Like, are you kidding me? 6 months ago, I was a barmaid. Like, you know me. You've known me my whole life. And they're like, yeah, no. And I'm like, come on. And then it took even longer for them to catch on. But I mean, the thing is like, that was with me working constantly, and like literally, even when I did the Ninja Blitz, I was like taking a picture with me at the Blitz card and slipping it in between the thing of Huggies, and I was like, look what I'm doing, you know. And it's like I'm constantly out there and making it happen. And if you guys are sitting and you're just like, nothing's happening, well, nothing's happening because nothing's happening. And if you make it happen, it may take 4 years, but you're going to ultimately be changing lives. And I mean, this is an amazing example of changing lives. So,
well, and for me, I always want to put that plug in. Consistency is key, and be patient. Because if Stephanie stopped posting after her first couple of years in the business, or maybe even once she reached ambassador, I would not be a triple diamond on her team, a personally enrolled triple diamond on her team. Right. Do you want a personally enrolled triple diamond on your team? Even if it takes 4 years for them to finally follow through and reach out to you. I mean, that's my own cousin. Like, I didn't see her posting every day. I saw every once in a while. I wasn't like watching every post that she did every day, but it wasn't until my student loans were due and something changed in my life that I was like, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? So that took me 4 years. And I always have to remember that. Like, I've just been in this business 4 years right now. There are people who have been watching me that whole time that are yet to join my team. And I'm willing to wait for them because I know that this is a lifelong business. It's not a get rich quick scheme like most people think. It's a lifelong business. And if you stay in this for life and you work your business like a job, you will have a paycheck that reflects what you would get in a full-time job. If you work it like a hobby, you will get paid like a hobby. And that is so true. And one more shameless plug for conference. If you are not going, you need to get your butt there. You need to find a way to do it. It's $225 this year, cheaper than it's ever been. And you get 5 wrap rewards. Like, I was like, are they freaking, what's wrong with them? Are they like drinking or something? Like, how in the world can they do that?
I'm like,
and 5 wrap rewards. That's $500, you guys, in cash for $125 payout, you pay the $125 for the 5 wrap rewards, you make $500 in cash if you sell those 5 packs of wraps. And facials. I mean, you could do wraps and facials. Hello, get your conference ticket on Monday. Book a vendor event every single month between now and conference.
Yeah.
Tickets paid for.
Right.
Just like that. They are paying us to go to conference this year. They are truly paying us to go to conference. I mean, they're ready for some big shift. Big things are coming. We already know that. I actually knew about this keto line earlier this summer, which is why I started doing the keto diet. I just knew of it. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I also know that we are going to be getting a lot more products besides just the keto coffee.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like an entire line of products. It's an entire new market of people. And you need to get to conference to find out how to run with that and how to turn your business from Ruby to double diamond in a matter of months like I did. You guys can all do it. It's just who's willing to put in that work and effort to do it.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
I mean,
I've been sitting at triple. Well, how long have you been at triple for?
almost 3 years. So
Really?
Yeah, I started in March of 2014, and then March of 2015, I hit triple, and so I've been just patiently waiting.
Jeez, that's crazy though. Like you rocketed out.
Yeah, no, for sure, I did. And what really helped was that I did work so many places, and I did so many things, and I talked to so many people that it did, and I just didn't care. I mean, like I messaged so many people. I mean, I just had 3 people right now tell me no. I messaged them and I'm like, dude, you got to get on the team. Like, it's amazing. And, and they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And I'll just keep going back. I really appreciate that. But I work and I'm really busy with my kids. I'm like, okay, well, we'll talk later this week. So, but that was it. That's all I did. And because I did that, I mean, I don't really tell too many people this. I think I was 5 distributors away from my presidential chart being filled.
Wow.
And then there was a shift.
Well, I'm 7 right now.
Nice.
And I'm not pushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no big bonuses on the line right now. I want to grow a strong team. I'm here for the residual.
Mm-hmm.
Bonuses are amazing. Bonuses are great. They're life-changing.
Right.
But the residual income you can make at this level is out of the world. I mean, I'm making more money than I did working full-time as an exercise physiologist with a bachelor's and master's degree right now. It's like, and I'm not making as much as I was making when I first promoted to triple. So like, even on the ups and the downs, you work for residual income. Mm-hmm. The bonuses are great, but just because you don't hit a bonus or you lose a bonus doesn't mean you quit. Like, you keep going because nothing but awesomeness is ahead of you. And conference, I just cannot wait for it because I know that they have some different things up their sleeve this year, and I don't think they're going to disappoint us at all. I'm ready for one of those conferences that you're just bawling your eyes out the entire time. Like, that was like a couple years ago. Yeah. It was just like you just knew it was going to be life-changing and just could feel it. I think last year was a little off. I feel like last year was a little off. Whoever went to conference last year, like, it was awesome, but it wasn't, for me, it wasn't as life-changing as some of the other conferences I had been to. So if that was your first conference, give them another shot. Mm-hmm. You're gonna really be blown away.
My first year when he doubled everything, I had this woman behind me hysterically crying because it was like she was calculating in her head like where she was at and when she's going to hit these bonuses and stuff like that, and then the triple bonus with the $50,000 instead of 25, she was like, I'm going to make $32,000 a month, and she just lost it. And I was sitting there, and I was a double diamond, because I went, from diamond to double diamond, and I was a double diamond, and I was like, I left, and that feeling of like, I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. And then 2 months later, I went triple.
Mm-hmm.
So
it really is. I mean, that it is. And I actually, Stephanie did, or no, a few of us girls in Stephanie's leadership did a Zoom last night. I think Steph posted it on her page. So if you guys follow her, you can click on that. And we did a Zoom, and it was like 10 of us girls that, it was about the importance of getting a conference. So you can share it on your team page.
Okay.
It was all diamond and above leaders. And each one of us told a little bit of our story and how being at conference changed our lives. So if you are questioning it, if you're thinking you don't have the money, you got to listen to some of those stories, because these people are all making good money now. And a lot of us made sacrifices. Like I said, I put my entire conference on a credit card. I didn't want to. I didn't want to have to do that, but I didn't have the funds to do it. And I thought, honestly, within 5 months, I was making more than I was working full time, and quit my job and was able to pay off my credit card. Right. So it's worth it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, 2014, that was my first conference, and it was that's when I went from Ruby to double within a matter of months. I think last year, or 2015, was also very emotional. And then 2016 was when, she didn't post it yet. I can send it to you, Erin.
Okay.
I thought she posted it on her page. But yeah, 2016, I think, was when was that election year? I'm trying to remember. There was something, the economy, there was some issues and things, it was just kind of but they were showing, they're showing trends in the companies and stuff. And it was not just at Works. It was all network marketing companies took a hit. Yeah. 2016, 2017, we're still reeling from the election and from changes. And Joel even said he's very green. And so he's looks into all that kind of stuff. And he said, really, when you have a major event like an election, you have to give the businesses almost a full year to recover.
Right.
So we all thought, after the election's done, boom, we'll just jump right back and jump right back up. Well, there's unsettlement. There's people not sure about spending their money. There's, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it didn't always, it just didn't replicate what our normal conferences could be like the past couple of years. So definitely get there this year.
Yep.
So I'll send that to you, Erin.
Okay.
And I know people need to get off, and it's already 10:15, and
you need to go get some rest too.
Yeah, just got school tomorrow with the kids and stuff. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for
I hope that was helpful.
Yes, it was very helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get some rest.
Thanks. All right, guys.
Have a good
Of course. Bye.